So this story was actually given to us by one of our esteemed committee members. So shout out QT for this one. We have Hedera and IOTA coming together. Guys, this is huge, very huge, because they are bringing Hedera into a project called Alvarium and this data confidence fabric. This is something that I have been nerding out about for a number of years now, because in the beginning, it was just to focus on the carbon credit reporting, things like that, right? But now it's a data confidence fabric where they're essentially creating a decentralized data pool to allow people to pull information from to do a number of things. Yes, the focus is ESG. Yes, the focus is climate change, but it's an interoperable network now that can be used for the tokenization of real world assets, the tracking and verification of different devices and vehicles on the IoT network. It really gets crazy when you get deeper into it, but we are not going to go that deep. I'm just going to share with you the details of the development. It is courtesy of a company called Demia. And they used to work with, well, they currently still work with IOTA, but it was originally an IOTA program where members of the IOTA Foundation kind of branched off and created this Demia platform. But basically, what they're going to do now with Hedera is incorporate Hedera's Guardian, which is their ESG-focused carbon credit platform, right? And again, these carbon credits, what they're really becoming a market now because of the fact that it allows companies to buy these credits and report them on their ESG reports, which verifies to the higher ups whether or not they're saving carbon, things like that. Again, a topic that could really be broken down into its own episode, but the value here is Hedera will now be integrated into Project Alvarium, which again is spearheaded actually by Dell and the Linux Foundation. And we know that Dell is a governing council member for Hedera. So I don't know why I didn't think about that before, this being a potential, but hey, here we are. It's crypto. Always expect the unexpected. But this is courtesy of the Hedera Foundation. They go on to explain that the Hedera Guardian will now leverage this initiative to incorporate trust scoring and annotations. This will help verify data integrity from its source, offer an additional layer of validation, and provide a means to measure the confidence in the impact projects make. Utilizing Guardian's audit trails and analytics, Demia acts as an oracle, offering attestations on data integrity and trust chain verification. So, again, it all boils back down to the data. And Sheen said we always have to trust the data. This is going to build a place where, all right, for example, let's just say Nike wants to they want to buy some carbon credits, and they're looking for marketplaces to buy these credits, right? Well, they end up on some kind of marketplace with a very sketchy website, and they don't have direct contact with the people in charge there, but they make the purchase, right? Then they go to receive those credits and then report them back to who they need to report them to, but they realize that those credits weren't real. They weren't verified. So in this sense, Nike just lost, or let's just say they spent about $50 million on these credits. They just lost $50 million, and this third-party company just got off with a bag. Okay? This Project Alvarium is going to prevent that from happening. And the companies that are focused on ESG, and there are a lot of them, they're going to see the value in that, because they want to get involved with these carbon markets, but they don't want to be swindled out of $50 million. So this is where Project Alvarium comes into play. And then here's another element too to keep in mind. This was initially active in Europe, but with Hedera getting involved, it brings in the U.S. market. And if you watched the video I did earlier this week about the changing of the narratives when it comes to the United States and blockchain technology and the deployment of American Blockchains Act that just got voted on in the House, still waiting for a final decision. But that opens the door for applications like this to be marketed here in the United States. And like I always tell you, Hedera is America's DLT. But let's finish this out, guys, because Demia, in their short amount of time here, has already worked with some major players in the space. They've had collaborations with Gold Standard and the American Carbon Registry. See, told you there. Now, Gold Standard is a company that worked with IOTA on this project Alvarium. They also worked with Energy Web on a couple projects some time ago, 2021. But if I'm not mistaken, VeChain has worked with the Gold Standard for their food supply chain tracking and stuff like that. So another thing that I'm seeing that wasn't present years ago, and this is just the beauty of evolution and how industries grow over time, is now there are market players in this carbon credit marketplace, and they're grouping together. And this is another representation of that core group starting to branch out, right? So when it comes to this carbon credit conversation, now at the top of the discussion, it's IOTA, it's Hedera, and honestly, it's Tezos. That's another asset I'm going to start covering on whether or not people watch it, whether or not people want to see it. But Tezos has a role to play here. But like we said, Gold Standard and the American Carbon Registry, which will bring them into the American markets, Demia's leadership and joint efforts in open collaboration working groups also aim to establish digital infrastructure and open APIs crucial for scaling the supply of projects through digital monitoring and report of environmental impact, and setting guidelines for the appropriate use of DLT across carbon markets with more than 70 active members. So this working group, the EU, United States, United Kingdom, all over the world here. And again, with their previous work with the American Carbon Registry and the direction that the United States is heading when it comes to the supply chain and what they want to use blockchain for, this is all, it kind of is meeting in the middle. This is meeting in the middle, and it's opening the doors for these carbon-driven, these climate-driven applications to run here in the United States, and they're going to run on Hedera. And now IOTA is going to get involved here too. But again, just to recap, guys, Hedera is now going to be involved in a pretty major climate initiative that's going to bring a lot of value to the chain. And their collaboration with IOTA, that's never been seen before. I also talked about an era in this market where we'll start to see these big name assets begin to work together. It's a world of interoperability. It was only a matter of time. But with that, though, that's the news. Let me know what you think down in the comments. And you know what I want you to do. Have a great day. Have a prosperous day. And always remember that if that money is digital, so is the hustle.